Hi Ash, you have seen Washington closely for a very long time now. Have you always had the belief in his ability with the bat, or has he managed to take you by surprise as well?
Actually, it is quite surprising because Washi bowled in some of the IPL franchises and he shot to fame because of his bowling in the power play and all that. So it's quite surprising that people don't recognize that he grew up all his life as a batsman who can bowl. And I'm not surprised at all with his batting abilities. He works really hard on his batting. In fact, to a point where sometimes we have discussions around how you should bowl more as well. So um, he loves his batting. He's innately a batsman, so I'm not surprised at all. He's quite a special batsman, like I said earlier in Chepak as well.
Ashwin, in the past 10 years, you've seen a lot of openers in your side like Sehwag, Gambhir, Murli Vijay. So when you see Rohit Sharma evolving as an opener in the past 1.5 years, and the way he performed, like where do you see him like as an opener? His performance, considering that
I don't even understand this question of me seeing the evolvement of Rohit Sharma because it is quite funny honestly when I hear that question. Obviously, when you put him on the pedestal of Virender Sehwag, and I mean you mentioned a few other names and also Rohit Sharma, and that's the right place and that's where he belongs. And we all know, and I've always my history with Rohit goes a long way back, maybe 15, probably 20 years ago since I've watched Rohit bat, and he's always been a special batsman. It is not a surprise that you're putting him on the same lines that you're saying Virender Sehwag and whoever that you mentioned alongside. It's not an evolution. It is only a matter of time. Nobody is surprised that Rohit Sharma is doing what he's doing. Right? He's a special cricketer. He's a special batsman. I just hope he goes on to win a World Cup for India later this year. That's it.
Do you think that this series win is, I mean, do you think this series win can be a good answer to the critics of the pitch?
Look, this series win is a testament to the fact that this is a really good Indian cricket team, and that is all I would like to say. The criticism around the pitch and all that. See, the other day also I was listening to what Sunny Bhai was saying on air, and it made complete sense. Only because we are giving attention to people who are making a mockery of it, I think we are encouraging them to do more and more such stuff. I would like to see one day where there is a lot of grass on the pitch somewhere else in the world, some of our Indian comms talking about it, gracing pitch and putting an Instagram post and a lot of people liking it. That is something that I'd like to wait and watch, and how the global media takes notice to that. Then we'll know who's at the faulty end.
what is a dressing room like when there is so much competition around, with the kind of talent that is flowing? Every time a new player steps in, he just grabs that spot, and the player who's out is again, kind of, we as outsiders begin to think, okay, now what? Like, because this guy is like made the spot his own, what is that atmosphere like in that kind of a dressing room? Can you just like kind of show us the big picture?
Look, I'm sure it's very hard for the person who is going through that phase. As a cricketer, you are constantly, in the Indian team there are a lot of people who will come and take your place, and there is good talent out there. So you can't really take anything for granted. You will have to keep fighting and churning it out day in and day out, and that's what Test cricket is all about, right? So I think the cricketer who is in the face of facing that competition with someone that's coming new, it's entirely up to the person. I think the dressing room atmosphere in general is open for excellence, for people to improve and try and get the best out of them. So I can only vouch for myself and say what does competition look like to me. I want to be the best that I can be, and probably put the best foot forward when I get an opportunity. And I'm sure that's the way of life, and you can't do anything about it. When there are so many talented people inside the dressing room, it can happen. Like in Australia, Brad Hodge made a double hundred and didn't play too many tests after that. So probably Indian cricket finds itself in that phase where we have a lot of cricketers coming through. But at the same time, I think we should all remember the kind of efforts some people have put in at vital junctures and crucial situations. So that is also being given a good merit to in the dressing room, which is great.
Karthik Krishna from.
Hi Ashwin, you spoke a little bit about like being in the bubble, and right after the match ended, Ravi Shastri was interviewed, and he spoke about how the team management sort of prioritized empathy, like during this time, empathizing with players and what they're going through in the situation. So, can you give me some examples of what that empathy meant for the players?
Look, I think in terms of empathy towards the players, I think he's talking about how they are, how we faced challenging situations in Australia in terms of how we had to deal with what was presented to us then and there, and sort of suddenly from saying that you can head out and be normal to going back into the bubble and all those sort of things happening, where he could really empathize with what the players were going through, staying in the bubble for a long period of time, and they needed to get some fresh air. Sometimes these hotels can be very, very claustrophobic. Yeah, you don't get fresh air also. And in Australia, there were situations where you didn't have window panes opening also. And for 14 days or 20 days or 25 days to stay inside that without even opening the window panes can be can be quite taxing, right? So I think he was talking from that on, and there was a lot of the communication is not easy, especially when you're on tours. With Cricket Australia or whoever it is, it goes back and forth, and it takes time for everything to get an answer. So it's like basically when you're waiting on certain things, it's like 2-3 days of time, and it cannot be easy. And many a times the team management has stood up and tried to resolve and look at what's best for the players in terms of arranging the sort of food that you get. Very, very simple things, but these are things that we need to be fighting for in these situations, right? Because everything needs to go through protocols, everything needs to be looked at sanitization, safety and all that. So yeah, even the smaller things the team management needs to watch out for the players.
We'll be taking last few questions now. Amaya and then Anirudh Suresh.
Congratulations on your performance.
Thank you.
And the series and also. It was a 8 man of the match, the man of the series award. We took around 32 wickets, scored 100 and took 3 fifers. So how do you look at your performance in this series and another man of the series award?
So this is one of those series where I was fortunate enough to stay in the moment a lot. Like I said, this is easily one of the happiest phases of my career. I'm just going through it. I'm just enjoying it. And whatever be it, these bio bubbles are also situations that I've somehow managed to enjoy amidst all of these things. I never thought that I would be able to bond and spend so much time with every one of my teammates. And sometimes when you're going through these situations, like for me, to know some of these teammates was not possible before these bio bubbles, because you're constantly in the face of trying to play the game, get the right result for yourself and all that. But now you're actually getting to be in the bio bubble, staying in the moment and spending a lot of time with each other. And fortunately enough, you will not realize the kind of great players that you're playing with until you're done. But now I'm able to cherish those moments and also understand what sort of players I'm rubbing shoulders with, and also the younger generation of players that are coming through. So it's basically the joy that's being expressed out there, and I don't have anything else to say about the series or my performance, because it was just a result, and I want to start again fresh and clean the slate up.